Hello. In his summer economic update, the Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, confirmed that a £2 billion scheme is to be introduced in September of this year to allow all homeowners and landlords in England to apply for a grant to help cover the cost of upgrading residential properties to make them more energy efficient. My name is John Rossiter. I'm a director with MHA McIntyre Hudson, and I specialise in indirect tax. I'm here today to talk to you about the interaction between the Green Homes Grant and VAT. With respect to the grants themselves, they will cover 2/3 of the cost of upgrade to a maximum of £5,000 for most properties. Low-income households will be eligible to apply for a grant to cover all costs, up to a maximum of £10,000. While this is aimed at a longer-term ambition that the government, and indeed we all have, for a greener future, the shorter-term goal is to help create and retain jobs in the construction industry by providing an additional or increased source of income that is relatively risk-free. With respect to the scheme itself, details of what the grant will cover have yet to be released, but it is anticipated that energy-saving materials such as insulation, double glazing, energy-efficient heating systems, and energy-efficient lighting may be included. The process is likely to be that homeowners and landlords will apply online and will be directed to accredited suppliers who will provide quotes. Once a quote has been approved and accepted, the government will issue a voucher to cover its share of the eligible costs. For those of you that are either already involved in the installation of energy-saving materials or intend to be, your first action should therefore be to ensure that you are on the list of accredited suppliers. When it comes to quoting for work and ultimately doing the work and billing for it, you will need to know what rate of VAT should be applied. VAT does apply at a reduced rate of 5% for the installation of certain energy-saving materials, but it does not apply to all types of energy-saving materials, and it does not apply in all circumstances. So, for pricing purposes and for working out margins, you will need to know whether you'll be charging VAT at 5%, at 20%, or part at 5% and part at 20%. Because getting it wrong can mean the difference between making a profit and making a loss. Determining when the reduced rate of VAT applies can be a complex area to navigate, and I would strongly recommend researching this or getting advice to A, make sure your forecast margins are right, and B, reduce the risk of future possible assessments from HMRC if you get it wrong. But in broad terms, reduced rating applies to services of installing energy-saving materials, including the energy-saving materials themselves, for someone who is aged 60 or over, or for someone who is on certain benefits, such as universal credit, job seekers allowance, disability benefits, and there are others. The installation, however, must be to their sole or main residence. Where the installation services are not to be supplied to someone who is 60 or over or in receipt of benefits, then the services can still be subject to the reduced rates, including the materials, provided that the value of the materials does not exceed 60% of the cost of the total supply. If it does, then it will be necessary to charge VAT at 20% on the materials, although the labour element can still be subject to the reduced rate of VAT at 5%. For VAT purposes, energy-saving materials means insulation for walls, floors, ceilings, roofs, or lofts, or for water tanks, pipes, or other plumbing fittings. Draft stripping for windows and doors is included, as is central heating control systems, hot water systems controls, solar panels, ground source and air source heat pumps, micro-combined heat and power units, and also boilers designed to be fueled by wood, straw, or similar materials. Reduced rating also applies to certain grant-funded installations of heating equipment and renewable source heating systems, where these are supplied to 60 or over, and also to those on certain benefits, but only to the extent of the grant amount that is received. So what steps should you, as a business who's either involved in the installation of energy-saving materials or intends to be involved in the installation of energy-saving materials, take? Well, there's two things that you need to do. First and foremost, as mentioned before, make sure you're included on the list of accredited suppliers. And secondly, get to grips with when the reduced rate of VAT applies. You'll need to do this so that you know what you need to ask your prospective customers to determine if the lower rate applies, to be able to price your quotes appropriately, maximise your margins, and allow your clients to take full advantage of the grants available, and also so you know what information you will need to obtain and keep to support the VAT treatment that you have applied. Thank you.